next question and conversation, how do I want to do this?
Oh,
I'm gonna play.
I'm scared.
Yes, I'm going to play the supporting videos first about this topic, and then I'll give the stats after you guys give your insight. So the question that we're going to be discussing is, should black men expect black women to go 50-50?
Y'all about to meet the real. I'm so chill now.
Yeah. Her hypergamy is her instinctual urge to find the best mate possible. Now, the best way to describe hypergamy is through a tree. Actually, it should be more like a triangle, but for now, we'll just use this as a tree. We'll call it the hypergamy tree. And basically, at the top of your tree, you're going to have your higher tier males. And at the bottom end, you're going to have your lower tier males. And as to be expected, the middle, your average tier males, or your average males. Now, female attraction works like this. Basically, females most want the guys at the top end of the tree. So at the very, very top of the tree, they are most attracted to these men. So right here, we're going to give them 5 fucking hearts, and they are the most sought after men. And average tier males would be the next. They're the next most sought after, so they're going to give them 3 hearts. And if you're at the bottom end of the tree, you actually get 0 hearts. You're actually fucking invisible. The only way to go from the bottom end of the tree to the top end of the tree is to increase your value. And there's only 3 ways to increase your value. And then the first one is through wealth, and that is your resources, what you can provide to her. Women look at this in the form of security. Can you provide for their offspring? Can you provide for her, etc.? The second way to increase your value is through your physique. And physique not only refers to, are you buff, are you 6'5", are you 220 pounds of all muscle? It also refers to your health and your well-being. You can't get girls if you have cancer, sorry to say. The last one is your social status. And it's where you stand within everyone else. Are you respected? Do other people want you, etc.? Things of this nature. And we kind of briefly talked about this. So when the woman is basically shit testing you, or when a girl is shit testing you, she's determining where you fit on this tree in regards to everyone else, in regards to social status, etc. And she's only testing for your social status. Remember, hypergamy is her ability to secure the best mate possible. So she's determining that.
Pretty simple, straightforward conversation, right? We understand hypergamy, and that's why I put that in there, because we're about to have a 50-50 conversation. Now, this next video is funny because I've seen a lot of level up women share this video of the late, great Kevin Samuels. And they always stop it at before he says something very key. And I want to see if you guys can catch this in regards to a man paying 50-50, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to watch the full video of what Kevin has to say. And let me know if you guys can catch a key point that a lot of women miss in regards to what he says. This is going to be funny.
But you don't want to put the work in. You don't want to build the resume. You don't want to actually have it where it counts to have the real leverage. You want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have a penis and an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. Mm-hmm. You pay everything. Why? Because it keeps her in her feminine when she's with you. I don't give a shit. The women I deal with, they know I don't care what you do when you're not with me. Well, you don't even tell you about the guy. I don't care. All I care is how you operate when you're here. Will that be the way it is always? No. Eventually, I'm going to pick one. I don't want a rotation for the rest of my life. Pick one, maybe 2.
Yes.
Now, did you guys catch what he actually said in regards to in that video?
What?
Oh, yeah.
One,
Picking
maybe 2?
1, maybe 2. Yeah, that's
Okay. So at the end, okay, I get that one, but
okay.
the thing, what I noticed with these level up conversations or channels such as like She Was Seven's ladies, they'll play that Kevin Samuels video and they'll stop it at "you pay everything," and oh, Kevin Samuels, oh, I love it. But they failed to play the full video where he actually said, you pay everything. The man pays everything when you're with me, meaning that when you're not dealing with me for that weekend, I'm not paying your bills. I'm not paying your rent. Just when you're here, your money is no good. Where else have you heard that from, guys in the chat? Me. So I told you guys that multiple times. And women, they miss that part of that because they don't want to hear it. Yes, when you with me, you can leave your purse at home because everything is going to be taken care of. But as soon as you leave, you're not my problem no more. But they miss that part and they just say, you pay everything. Woo! It's like, yeah. But we're going to stop right there before we get to that crazy ladies post. But Professor, and I will get you GMT. I owe Professor one, my bad, brother. Yeah, man. Professor, what's your thoughts?
Chill's going to hate me on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and get the dustpan ready for myself. But no, I don't believe in 50-50. I do believe in percentages. If I make 100, she makes 50, there's no reason we should be 50-50. There should be a percentage based of how much we're paying. And it all basically always depends on who your situation. But I've never had issues with women in regards to dating. I've always taken care of everything for dates, things of that sort. But a woman has also spent money on me with sometimes it's trips, sometimes it's this, that, and the other. But in a marriage, I believe this is only a conversation in this community. Other races of people don't necessarily have this conversation because Maria's selling flowers and Jose's building houses. Right. So it's only a conversation in our community. And the only way that this is first of all, it needs to go away, because what happens is when those two incomes together, now we can build. And as we're building, we can save money a piece and apart, and then go start investing in other things. And then at some point, we can sit you down, right? So then you're not working. But women have worked for years. The oldest profession of all time, we all know what that is a 304. So I'm all about percentages of what you make, not necessarily 50-50, but percentages. And I actually got that from talking to a couple millionaire people who that's how their household runs. They make multiple six figures and their wife still works and contributes to the household.
It's good points. GMT?
I'm in alliance with Professor, right? The way I look at it is like, I have to look at my lifestyle to begin with. And the way I started, this is just me being transparent. The way I started was my wife and I had to work, right? She worked, I worked. It wasn't until I continued to build myself up. Now, my wife is a stay-at-home wife, right? But we only have those dynamics because we have a child. But with that being said, it's because I didn't want the world to raise my child with their values. I wanted that to happen for us. So I put myself in a position to where I could make her a stay-at-home wife. So our child could be raised with the values that we have. But in today's market, realistically, women have to put a percentage in. Now, I do believe Kevin Samuels was talking about dating. In dating, if you're dating, when you're with me, I'll pay the bill. I'm good. We go out on dates and I'll take care of, everything. And when you're not with me, don't ask me for nothing. You're good. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out, because you should be bringing in your own for whenever you're with me. But when you're courting a woman for marriage, and you know that you're taking it serious, y'all taking it to the next level, you got to build yourself up as a man. That's what I truly believe.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, they always cut that part off. I found it hilarious. I found 3 videos from those pages and they had the same thing. But chill, I know you wait, brother. Go ahead. You got it.
Wait. There's something about this that just burned my button, man. When they be saying Ling Ling and Marisol and all them, they talk about it too. Hypergamy is across the board, baby. Okay. They leave them. Leaving them 50-50 dudes just like our sister leaving the 50-50 dudes over here. So let's not get it twisted. Okay? Hypergamy is across the board. Hell, ask some of the Passport brothers. They found it out too. They went over there. Boy, they're getting lit up. That 50-50
so glad they are. So glad.
Eddie.
All right, but look, listen. I get it. Fellas who are with the 50-50, let me tell you something. society is going to make y'all great again. All right. Inflation is going to make y'all great again by default anyway. So pretty soon, a lot of people are going to go to that 50-50 thing because they can't survive without it. Now, do I agree with it? Yeah. Fellas, I've always been a proponent, and you have to have the leverage. When you have the leverage, you can make the rules, you know? And usually when the 50-50 thing happens, I get it. It does help. It does alleviate the pressure from both parties. But she, as a woman, she's going to look at you and be like, well, my 50 is greater, even when it's not. Listen, fellas, you need to understand something. Until that time does come to where women say, you know what, I can't do nothing but the 50-50, you better make sure you got the leverage. All right, I'm going to land my plane right there. You've been warned.
That's it? That's it, Chill?
Right. I was waiting for the Cajun seasoning.
Bomb to drop.
Now I'm trying to be cool, man. I got
okay. So let's get with the ladies now. Let's get with the ladies. Ash, what's your thought on this topic?
Well, in dating, no, I don't think it should be 50-50 at all in dating, because that's when the man is trying to court the woman. He's trying to impress her. He's trying to let her know, hey, I got you. I can provide for you. I'm a man. I can do what it takes. We're doing 50-50. It lets me know that you can't. You don't got me. And you can't do what it takes. So, like, why would I want to be with that person who doesn't have what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're already proving it to me, you know? When it comes to marriage, a household, such a sticky conversation. No, I don't think the household should be 50-50 either. And that's just my opinion. I know everybody thinks different. And even with the way the economy is, yes, I believe a woman should contribute financially in some way, right? You know, if that's what the partnership agrees on, the marriage, that's like the grounds of the marriage, right? I never aspired to, like, I don't want to say work hard, but like match my future husband financially, right? I have a more, I don't want to, like, more of a traditional mindset when it comes to the roles of the man and the woman. And I don't believe a woman could fulfill her roles as a wife while she's also working hard to make sure she brings home her end of the bacon, right? So, no, I don't think it should be 50-50 in dating or in marriage.
So curious, and thank you, GMT. Curious your thoughts real quick before we move to Mona D. Do you think, just real quick, do you think the majority of married women are, let's say, in 50-50 relationships? Yes, I mean, like, do you think most of them are contributing, or are most of them stay-at-home moms?
Contributing.
Straight down the middle, 50-50? No.
Oh. Okay. No. Okay. Mona D?
All right. So I'm going to say this. And you actually will segue into my point, because we know only 25% of women are stay-at-home mothers. So we know that whether it's all throughout their time or for a period. And I was a stay-at-home mother for like 6 years. And my perspective is this: as someone who married young with my husband, and we had a clear understanding about, hey, you're going to stay home. And, you know, I didn't have to, quote unquote, pay during that time. But even when we were dating, yes, my husband paid for the majority of things. But did I come out of pocket? Absolutely. Because I was working, and there might have been times when I wanted to just, hey, I want to go here, let's go here, whatever. That was no problem. I don't have anything against men who can afford 100%. I think that's fine. The same way I don't have any problem for women who saying, hey, I only want to be in a provider only relationship. But for me personally, I don't think I have any problem with 50-50. And I actually believe in 100-100, because in my perspective, when you have both parties working and contributing to the household, that's actually better for everybody, both physically and mentally. My husband and I, we're almost down the middle when it comes to the rearing of our children, household chores, and all of that. I like that. That works for me. And my husband may be a little more involved with the kids than I am on a lot of levels, whether it's doctor's appointments, things at the school, all of that. I don't pick roles and jobs where I'm like out of the home a lot. I'm very particular about the job. If I have a job and it's too stressful for me, my husband will say, you're not taking that job. We're going to figure out something else, or you just may not work. But in general, I don't believe that women should not contribute to the home. Period. I think you're going to contribute in some way, form, or fashion. Do I think a woman's may I have periods where she's not contributing? Absolutely. And I also think that when you are in a marriage, you need to understand that there will be times where you may be the only person as the wife working and contributing. It should not be the expectation for the entire duration, but understand that there may be a point in time, and it may not even be an if, it could be a when, especially in the climate of today's economy and things like that. So I think we need to, and we should be open to that. That's definitely a possibility. But I don't think that people should not, go for what they want, but also understand what could come with that no matter which way you decide to go. But I don't think women should get out of not financially contributing anything, especially if you want to live a certain type of way. And that's just my opinion about it.
Right. Yeah. Jess?
Yeah, so I actually a little bit of everyone in a sense, because it's so subjective. And it's subjective because of this. To me, if you are in the top tier, okay, fine. If you don't want her to pay for anything, okay, that makes 100%, it makes sense. Now, a lot of our men do not rank in the top tier, though, if we really be honest. So if they're in the mid tier, you have to understand with the way that the economy is, we have to kind of, remember, I also said when you're talking about marriage, I talk about a unit as much as possible. So if we're not going to be struggling if we're together. So if she has to work, and depending on how the economy is, where you're living, if you're in New York, both of y'all have to work. So that's why I said it's subjective. So depending on what the situation is, then I understand that. I understand it. Of course, I have traditional values. So my mind goes to a man being a provider, but then also with the realities of what is going on now.
Okay. So I got a question for you. So you said we understand that a lot of black men aren't in the top tier, right? Do you think that black women understand that as well when we have these discussions about 50-50?
Of course not. If they're always talking about 100K and all that other
Yeah,
stuff. Come on,
right.
we hear them. Like they're unrealistic.
Just asking, because I don't think they understand.
No, that's the thing. Reality got to hit some people's heads.
Yeah. But all right. So this is what we're gonna do next. We're gonna end it with this lady's video. She be saying some wild stuff, and then we're gonna go directly into the actual statistics in regards to what the 50-50 dynamics look like in the black community and also with other races. And it may shock you, and this may be a turning point in these. Go ahead. Did I didn't get you, MRT?
No.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Who else?
No, I think that was everybody.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to chime in on this part because, I literally was talking about this again with someone today. So since I am getting older, I'm trying to put a little bit more. I don't want to say pressure on the man, but just letting him know this is what I need, and you need to go. You need to meet these standards on this list. But for me, though, okay, dating, I believe, yes, 100%. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Let me take that back. I believe dating, you should be paying for a majority of everything. Majority. I do believe that once I see your consistency and I feel like there's progress being made, I don't mind chiming in some type of way. It could be parking, it could be a movie, it could be whatever it is we're going to do. And that's kind of how I like to handle it along the way. And I would expect that the same way in my marriage. You are primarily taking care of everything. And if there's any gaps of where you could possibly fall short, I'm 100% right there. What is it called in football? Is it your quarterback? Whoever is supposed to catch the ball when you throw them out there. Whoever makes the touchdown and makes the team win, that's who I am. So I'm there to support in that type of way. But I do believe majority of everything should be taken care of. I shouldn't have to worry about if your card gonna decline.
Okay. So when you say in a relationship they should be taking care of the majority of everything, are you talking about dates? Are you talking about bills?
No, dates.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
You gotta
The
make that
dates.
clear nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, I know the chat. They be like, "What? I'm paying your bill."
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing about me, but I personally don't. I've never been the one to look for someone to pay my bills and to give me this, or look for someone to ask for all this money. No, I do pretty well. Like, I'm okay. I don't need all that stuff to be happy or to have a good time. Like, I'm not. Yeah, nah.
All right, just make it clear. So, all right, so like I said, we're gonna go to this lady's video, and it's a great segue into the statistics. So this is what she thinks, I guess, about the Black community in 50-50, and then we'll go to the statistics. So here we go.
I would like to present to you a verbal flowchart, if you will. If we agree on one part of the argument, we can then move on to the next part of the argument. First part, I think it would be hard pressed to find two people who are exactly evenly yoked when it comes to, how much they make, or their finances, or what they're worth, or their educational background, or their status in life, right? Probably would be hard to find two people who are exactly evenly yoked. We can agree on that. Moving on. So if they're not exactly evenly yoked, somebody is going to be dating up, and then the other party will be dating down. Because again, they're not equal. Can we agree on that? Moving on. So since historically women have been the ones who dated up, and if either one of these parties, male or female, are going to be dating up, I mean, come on, let's just be real. It should be the woman, right? Can we agree on that? That's probably going to get a lot of y'all, but I'm just going by history. It is what it is. So moving on, if we can agree that I would rather it be the woman dating up than the man, that means the man has to conversely date down. Like, and here I go with the black. I don't give a dang. I said what I said. When I mention black people, I don't shy away from that. Black people seem to be the only community where it's like looked down upon for a woman to want to date up. That's weird. I don't really care what y'all say. I'm going with the rest of the world. I'm a woman. I'm dating up. Men are conversely going to be dating down. What y'all think about that?
All right. So she's under the impression that black men are opposed to black women dating down, and no other races are having this discussion, right? And this is a common misconception that we hear in these spaces all the time. And the reason why it's a common misconception is because here are the actual statistics in regards to how marriages are actually shake out, right? And I think these conversations would definitely help, but here we go. Should black men expect black women to go 50-50? An article written by the magazine Word in Black indicates that black women are more likely to be breadwinners, and they also say that's not a bad thing. Access to higher education has helped married black women become breadwinners. Experts say it can help uplift the black family. What that actually means and what that study is based off of is a Pew Research article that was published in 2023. Pew found that 1 in 4 black wives out-earned their husbands. And according to Pew's survey and analysis of existing government data, black women are more likely than any other ethnic group to be in marriages where they're the breadwinner or in an egalitarian marriage, 50-50. Of marriages where the wife is black, the husband is the main source of income 40% of the time. The wife is a main source of income 26% of the time, and 34% are egalitarian or 50-50. So when you add wife is a primary breadwinner and egalitarian marriages, that comes out to 60% to black men's 40%. However, when you add the 40% to 34%, black men are leading at a 74% clip. Furthermore, according to Pew Research in 2022, in egalitarian 50-50 marriages, average number of hours spent on these duties each week vary from husband to wife. Paid work. Men, 44.2 hours per week. Women, 41.1 hours per week. That's a 3.1 hour difference in favor of men. Leisure time. Men, 25.2 hours per week. Women, 21.6 hours per week. That's a 3.6 hour difference in favor of men. Caregiving. Men, 5.1 hours per week. Women, 6.9 hours per week. That's a 1.8 hour difference in favor of women. Housework. Men, 1.9 hours per week. Women, 4.6 hours per week. That's a 2.7 hour difference in favor of women. To further break down egalitarian marriages, wives and husbands tend to earn about $60,000 each. Here are the median annual earnings of wives and husbands across marriage types in 2022, according to the Pew Research Center. In all marriages, the wife tends to make $35,000 as opposed to the husband's $65,000. When the wife is the sole provider, she earns $45,000. When the wife is the primary provider, she earns $88,000 as opposed to the man $35,000. In egalitarian marriages, the wife earns $60,000. The husband, $62,000. When the husband is the primary provider, the wife earns $30,000. The husband, $96,000. When the husband is the sole provider, he earns $70,000. And those numbers coincide with the greater share of dads that are stay-at-home parents today than 30 years ago. In 1989, 4% of fathers were stay-at-home dads. All parents, 17%. Mothers, 28%. Fast forward to 2021, 26% of women are stay-at-home mothers, 18% are stay-at-home parents, and 7% of fathers. All right. Did y'all learn anything?
Like I said, I'm an avid watcher.
Hey, so if we look at the statistics, when in black marriages between black men and black women, black men are the sole or primary breadwinner 40% of the time. So that would, lead to the point that yes, black men are still out earning. And also another point, when it is an egalitarian relationship, the man still earns $2,000 more than the woman. So it's rather common amongst all races. So that was the whole point of trying to get. So I know, yes, the ideal goal, like GMT said, my wife is a stay-at-home, wife now, you work towards that. But we're talking about 35 to 44. And that's where the point of contention comes in, because these women are already settled. They're established, right? They should have their careers and everything. But then when you try and get married to a man in that same age group, let's say, and then you tell him, now I want to stay at home. It's tough, right? Yes. So that's the biggest issue with these, conversations. It's like, I've been working all this time, but now I've heard women say this. I want a man to retire me right now. So
they all of a sudden get traditional, right?
Yeah. It's like, now I want to be
realistic.
You're not a virgin. You come with kids. Like, you're not traditional. What are we doing here? And then 1 of 4 y'all gonna get married. It's 1.5 million more of y'all. So listen, if you don't want this, sit at home with your cat or your dog or your 3 kids, and I'll keep it pushing. Find somebody else.
And I leave it open. And real quick, another point. When you Google this, I know Jess, you like to Google. When you Google let's say black women earn more, all these articles come out and they'll say black women are doing so much better and they're more likely to be breadwinners. But then when you read it, it's 1 out of 4. And, it's like, well, because that's misleading to a lot of women. They'll see the title and they'll say, oh yeah, we're doing better than black men, we're the breadwinners. But then when you read the article, it's still 3 out of 4 black men out earning black women in marriages. So that's where the cleanup has to be, right? So Chill, you got it.
I was going to say, a lot of these articles that they put out, they do it on purpose. It's extremely misleading because they do know that, and not just our women, but women in general, they react based on feelings. And reading that title, oh, we are dominating. Oh, we're in lead. Ooh, all those endorphins just flooding. And it's only until you read the actual article that you see, nah, baby, you ain't leading nothing. Especially as
I agree with what Chill is saying 100%. And I think 50-50 is a subjective thing. Like, you look at it like, people say 50-50, but what do women really say when they say that? Like, if I pay the mortgage, you're working, you're going to pay the electric bill, you're going to probably pay the gas bill, go food shopping, you're going to do something. So there has to be a contribution in today's market. And most, like we all know, most men cannot afford to fit the bill for a whole family, as you were saying. So I think this conversation is not to make women feel as, oh, okay, you guys are not doing anything, we're still doing better than you. It's more about saying, hey, let's get realistic and come together. You know what I'm saying? That's where we need to be at. If we can stop talking about what you make, what I make, and say, okay, what you make can add to what I make, and we put it together, let's build something. But it's hard.
No, you're right. That's the whole purpose of this live stream, just to put things into perspective. And also, I think you guys understand now why I said that most men care about a woman's income, right? So we said this earlier, and now that you look at the statistics, that's why I say that's a flawed, talking point in these spaces, because the majority of men, they need their woman's income unless they're going to live under what he makes, and that may be at a lower level. But most people, I mean, hey, would you rather? And that's a good question that maybe I'm not equipped to ask. You probably need a panel of women a large amount of women. So the ladies, you may want to take this. If a woman would rather live under a man's salary, let's say, like on the statistics, it said when the man is the sole breadwinner, sole provider, he makes $70,000 a year. So would women rather live under 70,000 and be a stay-at-home mom, or would she rather work and increase the income in the household and live let's say a better lifestyle? What y'all think about that, ladies? Jess?
And that's why I said it's subjective. That's why I said it's subjective, because yes, most women may want to stay home, but then also if they have children, they may want to stay home. That, of course. But there are some who like to stay active, do a little thing, and if the children are grown and everything, they may want to occupy their time doing something, but making sure that it's something that contributes to the family. There are women like that. So,
MRT?
Can you run back the question again?
So do you think women would rather live under a $70,000 household as opposed to combining incomes and living under, let's say, $120,000 household when she works?
That'll be a better life.
I don't think I'm understanding it correctly. So
if I'm trying to frame this the best way possible. So she would have to be in a 50-50 marriage where she works, but the household would have more money. You would have $120,000 between both of you guys, but she could be a stay-at-home wife and live under $70,000 of what he makes, and she doesn't have to work. So what's more appealing to women if you had to guess majority or minority?
I mean, I think the majority would probably, just because they won't have to do much, they would probably pick to where like they're a stay-at-home mom, just so they don't have to. Yeah, just so they don't have to contribute as much. I mean, because even me, like when you put it that way, it does make more sense. Like if you guys want to have more just opportunity to do different things within your marriage, for you to combine your incomes, and it's a 50-50 thing. But I think majority of people would be like, no, I don't want to work at all.
Okay.
Regardless what's left, I don't want to work.
Ash, what you think?
I would hope that majority of people wouldn't want to live with the 70,000 a year income. It just sounds exhausting, like a struggle almost, because we're talking about supporting our whole family. But I also think we like really gotta think about this 50-50 thing that we keep, because when you're 50-50, in my mind it's like a roommate situation. I'm paying, if the mortgage is $2,000, I gotta pay $1,000, you gotta pay $1,000, electric bill $60, so I gotta give you $30. Like that's 50-50 to me, and I also don't think anybody in a marriage wants to live like that either.
Okay. Jill, I see you waiting, brother. What
Woo! All right. So when it comes to this situation, oh boy, buckle up y'all seatbelt, y'all. Listen, I was just gonna keep it real, man. Ladies, I respect y'all, but 70,000 to y'all, and you staying at home sounds like struggling. In your mind, that's what it's gonna be. And I already know what ladies gonna say. They're gonna say, "I'd rather work. I'm gonna work to help you." But fellas, keep in mind, a lot of women work to earn money, so that could be her veto power. Her veto power is her to circumvent the rules that you make. And once she have enough, or once she found a suitable guy, yeah, Katie barred the door. It's off to the races. That 70,000 ain't, you know what I'm saying? Fellas, you know how it is. We know. We know. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't see too many women saying, yeah, I'll do the stay-at-home thing for 70,000. What state you living in? Arkansas? 70,000 ain't even doing much over there.
Right.
And then you're talking about kids? Kids now cost roughly from birth all the way to 18 years old, $300,000. Yeah, so that hypergamy definitely done kicked in by then, and that back door was open.
Not the back door.
Just saying,
Professor.
It's crazy to me that someone would pay $70,000 over 120, and the reason I say that because those women that stay at home, you know, what's the biggest reason women get divorced is dissatisfaction. Now the guy has to go out and work more, so now he's not home. Now you don't help with the kids. We don't ever go on trips. You're never here, so now she's dissatisfied. Now she's outside in the truck with some random dude with a leash on. And you got to come out here and catch her. Lord. So I'm saying that it happens. You know, that's why they had a show called Desperate Housewives, because those women are sitting at home being desperate. So at the end of the day, if a woman's working and you're working, it's your income. We make more together than we do apart. How much better would our lifestyle be if we both work? Now we can take those more trips, or I might have to work more and you're gonna be dissatisfied. So either way it goes, a woman's gonna be unhappy. So I'd rather my woman, she makes 60, I make 62. We had $122,000 a year. I told you the median household income in Charlotte is $70,000. We got an extra 50 grand to play with. 50 grand to play with. Then we can go do other things with. Now I can put that 50 grand into something else. We can go take a trip. And like you said, kids are expensive. My daughter cost me over $200,000, and that was just child support from 0 to 18. So that wasn't even taking care of my own household. It was $200 and some $1,000 in this child support. So kids are expensive. Now you talk about 1, 2, 3 kids in a household of $70,000. That sounds like poverty to me. That sounds like the struggle bus. It ain't about that life. So get off your butt and go to work. I don't care if you got OnlyFans. If you're in the streets, you're gonna do something. You ain't sitting in my house not working. If a woman don't work, she don't eat.
See, I think it's a great conversation. This is good. Yeah, no. End it off. Chill, you got it.
All right. Now there is a caution though, fellas. There's a huge caution. You know, I get it. We want that woman to work. We want her to pay homage to what we're doing. But you know, if you got 70,000 and she out there putting in about 12 hours, just like you putting in 12 hours, oh buddy, there is a problem. Because guess what? Ain't no goddamn, let me not curse, ain't no goddamn way in HE hockey sticks. You know what I'm saying? That she could be solved. She can't. Her in the workforce throwing elbows, being competitive, trying to bring home the bacon to put towards your bacon is going to make her harder. Now you got a problem to deal with.
It's a tough dynamic, and that's why this conversation need to be had. It's very tough. More money, but she may be a little bit hard, brother. So
yeah, you might come home from your shift one day and be like, "Hey, baby, can you make me a sandwich? Get it, make it yourself."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just put in 12 hours just like you. So,
and this is when you talk through trauma, though. You be talking through trauma with the kind of people that I'm just saying. Because honestly, depending on the character of the person, that's not how it goes.
Really?
Okay, you want to say really?
Yeah, I do.
There are people out there, but of course, probably the people that you surround yourself with, keeps you in your trauma-minded self. But it's like, you got to think about, that's not everybody, especially somebody that you marry. You're looking at the character of the person and all that stuff beforehand.
Yeah. All right. I hear you. I definitely hear you. But we have real life examples that we can all reach out and touch. This hypergamy thing, power dynamics, this has always been the thing. It has always. Look, check this out, man. Fellas, when you're dating, you're courting, whatever. Peep the social media of the woman that you're courting. If her social media don't look like nothing of the life that you're providing her, buddy, you already know what's going to go down, man. You better check that parking lot. She might be out there messing with the driver on right now. You hear me? This stuff is real. And then, for the ladies who say we all aren't like that, you stop it. You got that ticking time bomb in you. And if you get with a dude who does not meet those standards that you have,
so then with your logic, all men are dusties then, because you're gonna be saying across the board. You can't say across the board stuff.
No, all men aren't.
That's trauma talking, because you're looking at every woman as a negative. Then that's already trauma. Just like how we can't look at all men as a negative.
Okay, I hear you. We're not looking at all women as a negative. Women are beautiful.
The way you're talking, yes.
Okay, I hear you. Well, calm down. Just let me finish. Let me finish. Listen, women aren't a negative. We get it. All I'm simply telling dudes, the men, the young men, the older men, all my brothers, learn how to deal with them from a position of power. If you don't, you know what's going to happen. You need to have leverage on your side.
But Jill, I want to interject on that, because I think like I understand what you say about power dynamics and relationships. Some of that can be true, but I do think you have to look at the person that you're dating, because regardless if it's power dynamics or not, everybody has a limit. Everybody has a line that you don't need to cross. For men, I would say it's weight. So, you know, I'm pretty sure you might start looking elsewhere, or your eyes and mind start wandering, looking at another woman because she's overweight. It's a woman that you've been with for 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, or whatever. So I don't like how it's like, oh, well, if you don't have leverage, it's a guaranteed women are going to do this because of what y'all say, hypergamy? Because of hypergamy. So, I mean, I think it really just gets boiled down to your requirements and what you're willing to deal with on a whole scale. Some men aren't there's a limit for a man on how much lip he's going to take from a woman, period. Forget power dynamics, forget if he's broke. It's only but so much lip he's going to actually take before he either treats you like you were nobody, or just move on to the next, or put you in rotation. So it's just limits, really. It's all about what you're willing to deal with, and how long are you going to let that person, how much time are you going to give that person to come correct? Because I mean, it's something I've done in my relationships. He wasn't the top of the line guy and didn't have all this money, but I let him prove himself. This is what the time you got. This is what you say you want to do. Okay, you don't do what you say. Now I'm gonna go. Mm-hmm. You know. So it's just about what you want to deal with or not.
I'll let you.
If you want to deal with that.
Before I read the super chats, go ahead.
All right. I appreciate. Look, Medium Man is brilliant. He got me out of the cage. He knew how to get me out of the cage, and I'm out the cage, y'all. I am out.
Please keep your chain on. That's keeping you at the dog. Keep the dog happy.
I'm chilling.
Not feed the chill monster.
Oh my goodness! Look, I hear you. I definitely hear you, MRT. I really do. But the numbers don't lie. Mm-hmm. They don't, do they? Look at the divorce rate. Look at the relationships. If I'm talking about just dating, women rank high in that too. They the one who initiate that. And what are the reasons? We all know. If we ain't checking those boxes, if we ain't holding no leverage, if men aren't exercising power dynamics, and 9 times out of 10 we lose. Mm-hmm. That's usually how it is. You can keep saying that it's like the Powerpuff Girls. Women are all sugar and spice and everything nice. No, you have to have leverage.
See what you missed was you kind of actually just said it.
What is
you said it? You kind of just said it. It's still all about what you're willing to accept. It's all about your limits. Because you're saying as long as they don't have that leverage, then they're gonna go. I'm pretty sure she's gonna give you that time. And if you do not succeed in that time, or you don't have a major turnaround, the man or the woman is going to leave. It's just about your requirements. If your spouse is falling below a certain point of what you want her to be, I'm pretty sure you're going to have that conversation. And once she stopped.
Chill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Miranda, MRT, sorry, finish your point. I do want Medium Man because I know he wants to get onto the subject.
Oh, yeah. It's just limits.
I know. This is what we could do on the panel all day long.
That's it.
I can see that was a point of contention. So I wanted to let y'all cook and get it out or whatever. And I was going to ask another question, but this is a good conversation. I think this needs to be studied. Ash, you say a man should pay 100% of everything when dating you. What does he get in return? Is that what you meant, Ash, by dating?
No. So like, If a man is interested in me and he wants to take me out and get to know me, then yes, in the beginning he needs to be paying for the dates, right? And if I like okay, I like this person, like through getting to know him, I don't mind contributing. Like if I think someone said it earlier, I want to say it was MRT. If I say, like, if I initiate a date, I don't mind paying. But most of the time the guy's gonna be like, nah, I got it anyway. But like I don't like the expectation for me, if you ask me out, then yes, you gonna pay. Because why did you ask me out? Right. Like it don't make sense. To me, like my mind don't make sense. But after we get like further along and I like him, like once we're not, like if we become exclusively dating or in a relationship, then yeah, I don't mind contributing to a date. Like if I want to go do something, for sure, yeah, let's go do it.
You know what's funny? I seen the reverse from a discussion that was had on the Breakfast Club by Fancy from Jamie Foxx, Garcelle Bouveau, whatever her last name is.
Mhm.
She said that she went after a guy and asked him out on the date, and she got mad that he didn't pay.
That's
and
crazy.
they were like, well, you asked him out.
Yeah. Right.
And she's like, what? But yeah, so that's funny. So both ways. She's like, yeah, if a man, if he asks me out on a date, he should pay. If I ask him out on a date, he should pay. It's like,
he wasn't
what?
trying to pursue you, so why would he? Like, why invest in something you don't want?
Why am I paying for something that I'm not gonna get a return on?
What do you mean?
Because like I've said before, and I'll say it again, every date I take a woman on is an investment in the bank of cheek clapping, and at some point I'm gonna want to withdraw. So why am I gonna keep paying for something that I'm not getting a return on? I'm not getting a return on this investment.
Okay, but what are you going out for? Are you taking her out exclusively so you can get the cheeks and it could be a cheek thing? Or is this gonna be okay?
Yes.
But see,
and then after I'll see who she really is. It's called post nut clarity. I'll see who she is after that. But I don't see you for who you are. Listen,
Does she know this before the date?
Oh, good question.
It don't matter. If she listens to this podcast, she is. But listen, here's the thing though. If I'm taking you out, and I think Ash said it, she's like, well, as we go out more, I may get to like you. So that mean you don't like me from Jump Street?
No.
I don't know
New York Times put an article in the newspaper talking about how women go on dates for free food. Listen, I am not your sponsor. I only sponsored a kid in Africa one time. So what I'm saying to you is, if I'm not getting a return on my investment, then it's gonna be 50-50. Or if we going to Red Lobster, you're gonna pay half yours, I pay half mine. But yeah, nope.
But I think women though. I don't know. But I think if a woman is going out for free meals, which I think is that is stupid.
It's sad.
It is sad. That's the word I'm looking for. It's sad. If they're going out on free meals, it's probably because they already know that you're investing for the cheek clapping.
Nah.
if they know, hey, look, he's probably taking me out, or he is taking me out because he wants the cheeks. I'm gonna go and get this free meal, and I'm gonna ghost him after, or see how many more free meals I can get before he finds out I'm not giving him nothing.
And that's why dudes are never killing.
That goes to the point of why men had to put a cap on how many times they take a woman out before they get what they're they've invested all this time. So that's why you hear the conversation about cutting it off at the 3-date minimum.
But
that does make sense, because there are women out there, according to that New York study, it was about, I think they said 34 to 44% of women go on dates just because of the free food. So men have to take that into consideration when they take women out on dates, and put a cap on how many times they're going to take a woman out before they stop getting the ass out hug. You know what I'm saying? And they got to figure it out. Hey,
But wouldn't that go on the man's part as far as vetting her out before he actually spends the money to do that? Because I personally, not saying you can look at someone and tell, but a couple of conversations, especially just getting to know like their mindset, you can kind of tell if this is someone that you want to be interested in the long run to, take care of and to pay bills for them. But I would say that's on the man's part for not vetting her correctly, because to me, those women stand out. You can see them. They are not hiding, and they are not ashamed about using a man for free, whatever. They are not ashamed.
We had this conversation before. We had this conversation about the vetting process or whatever, and I was trying to educate men on how to get to know a woman prior to the date. You can't meet a woman on Friday, talk to her on Saturday, schedule the date for next Friday, and y'all never talk in between.
Right.
And then when you get to the date, it's like you're dating a stranger.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of guys are doing. They'll meet the girl, secure the date, set the time for a week later, and then they'll give vanilla, text responses. Good morning, beautiful. How you doing? How was your day? Okay. And then you go, and then Friday comes and you're going on a date with a strange woman. So now she's not comfortable with you. She don't know nothing about you. So now she's going to be like, well, I don't know this guy, so I may as well get something free. And that's where the backup plan or the contingency plan of the 3-date rule comes into play. So you should be trying to get to meet that or know that woman prior to the date, to where when you first see her, you're getting a hug and an embrace. Like, oh man, I was looking forward to this or whatever. It's a whole process that I think there is a huge disconnect in these spaces that a lot of men don't feel when they give men relationship and or dating advice, right? Get the number, set the date, and then go talk to her. No, that's not how it works. But let me get to these.
As you heard, a lot of them, the drive is for the cheek clapping. It's not really to get to know the person. And I'm just talking about how some people spoke. That's what I'm talking about. So if you're actually for something substantial, then there's a whole different approach to it. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not entertaining the ones that just want to do the cheek clapping, just wasting people time, getting free meals. I'm not talking about those. And that's why I said, when I talk about talking through toxicity, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
As in to say, like, it's where your mindset is, what you're disciplined for, how you move, and what you expect out of life.
I want to clear something up real quick. That's every man, ladies, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm talking about, because you're saying they want more. Every man wants more, but they also want cheeks. From Stephen Urkel to Stefan Urkel, it don't matter. A man don't invest in a woman if he's not trying to have sex with her. So that's going to be a giving, and instead of trying to separate, well, the men that's there for something else and the man that's there for cheeks are two different guys. They're not. They're all the same. And that's what I try and get women to understand. They just go about it in different ways. Yes, we will meet. We're not whoremonger trying to sneak in at every chance that we get. But I guarantee you, if a woman offered that nerd some cheeks, he would take it.
But
it is what it is.
I'm not talking specifically about that. I'm talking about those who, because you remember you hold the gateway for a relationship. So that's what I'm talking about. As in to say, if that's where your mind is, some is not. Especially we have one here. They're not right now. So then don't waste your time doing that.
So because we're not saying that we're not saying that he's not going to want to have sex with you. Obviously, off gate, he wants to have sex with you. If you give him the opportunity, he's going to take it. But it's more so of, this girl's attractive and I would have sex with her if I could have the opportunity, but I'm looking for a wife. Can this woman meet my needs? How can she run a household? Who is she really on the inside to her core? What does she have to offer? What can she value, or what type of value can she bring to a relationship of us coming together? So that's the differences that we're talking about, is a man that's actually going out and dating with intentions of the long run. Of course he wants sex. We're not denying that at all.
Yeah, right. I'm actually be fully transparent. Go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing with her, as in to say sex appeal is the whole thing. Yeah. We're not denying that. We're talking about how a lot of men are not purpose driven with when it comes to dating, and some are. So that's who I'm talking to. It's just not about differentiating who I'm talking to, which makes the sense.
So typically, and I'm gonna be very transparent. I've never dated marriage minded prior to meeting my wife.
Thank you.
I was never a guy that went on the dating market and was like, I'm looking for my wife. Never. Most men don't do that. The men that do that, women don't like, because they're in the church typically, right? So I've never been a guy that specifically went on a date and said that I'm looking for my wife. And I also didn't say I'm just looking for somebody to have sex with.
My brother does that.
But I said, but a lot of guys don't do that. They don't set in their mind that I'm looking for my wife on this date. Of course, they want to meet the woman, and if she changes his mind in regards to the way he thinks and he feels that this is a woman that I need to keep, then he'll start vetting her a little bit differently. But like I said, and I've done some light studies on my page about this and asked a question to the guys and got over like 1,000 responses on the votes, and about 80% said I've never specifically said I'm dating marriage minded. And also, I hear women say that they never dated as marriage minded as well. That's very rare. So I think people are just going for the experience, and then if somebody can change their mind, cool. But that one thing on my end, never dated as a marriage minded, and two, there was a time where I was not ready to be somebody's husband, and I was very honest about that, and I told the women I'm not looking for anything serious, and that's where the truth comes in. So yes, I can admit that if I'm on my purpose and I have to get some degrees, I'm deploying. I'm not ready to be nobody's husband, so I got to be honest if I still want female attention and female company. And that's where that comes into play. And you let women make the decision on what they want to do, if they want to stay or go. Granted, if you ask 10 women or you tell 10 women about this situation, 7 of them will say, no, I'm cool. I'm looking for a husband or something like that. It is what it is. But the 3, they looking for the same thing that you looking for. They just want some company from time to time. And I was happy to oblige. So yeah, so it's and I know that word about being marriage minded gets thrown around in these spaces all the time, and I hear it consistently, but it's very rare, in my opinion, that both men and women go to the dating market and say, I'm looking for a husband, until they get a little bit older. And it's like, oh, now I want to be settled down or whatever. Go ahead, Jessica. I'm sorry.
Well, with that, I never heard much of those saying it straight out either. That's not what I'm saying. It's more so about how you're moving. So like worrying about the connection, and if you're feeling this person, and you see a lot of things in that person that you admire and that you're really into, and that works for you in your life and whatnot. But I feel like the dating realm has become so much of just kind of doing things
going with the vibe,
than actually,
No, yeah, I agree.
Going with the vibe, yeah.
So
I think
GMT. I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry about that. I'm like, I'm wondering why nobody can hear me. My whole thing is like, yo, fellas, start spending less money on these dates. This way you don't feel as if you are paying some high investment to go out on dates with women. If she really wanted to get to know you, you do not have to take her to Steak 48.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? You could invest a lot lower to really get to see who she is.
Yes.
And if she don't like it, kick rocks. Another woman will.
We're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay here for a little bit, because I'm glad you mentioned not paying a lot for dates. I put this clip in here just for research purposes, and it actually helps the conversation. Here we go. Hold on, I got you, Chad. One second. Here we go.
What, $200 on a date?
Nah, wrong number. I would never spend over $100 on the first date.
Oh, so what's the rationale about the not over $100?
I don't know you.
But that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Describe a first date.
Man, I mean, the last time I went out on a date, whoo, Jesus.
That's why. Probably because you don't spend over $100. I'm sorry. It creeped out.
No. I mean, I'm just strategic, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. I don't need to impress you at a nice dinner. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm going to listen to you while we're talking, while we're on the phone, while we're having a conversation. I take a whole notepad of what you like, favorite flowers, favorite color. And what I'll do is, because let me be real with you, men on this stage, it's easy for me to drop $200 on dinner.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to be intentional.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to move with intention. And let's say you like flowers. Well, I'm going to take you to a little flower bed. We're going to turn around and pick your own flowers. That cost me $10.
I like it. Randy is unimpressed. I like it. Unimpressed.
Okay, real quick. So the reason why that was Anthony O'Neill, right? I think it is Anthony O'Neill. Yeah. So the reason why he can say that and the women accepted it is because they know that Anthony is a millionaire. So he can say, I'm not spending $100 on a date, and all the women on the panel are gonna be like, yeah, I agree with that. Haha. But a man that they don't know, they rarely accept that. From what I gather from the guys in the chat, in these conversations, women want men to break the bank, so to speak, on a date. Like GMT was saying, like, hey man, don't spend a lot of money. But it was just very funny that every woman agreed. Even the woman that I see always yelling, the Keita Rose girl, she agreed with him. And I'm like, that's kind of wild, because if a man says that he's not spending over $100 and they don't know him, then that would be a red flag. Like the last woman at the end of the video, she was like, I'm not impressed. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear what she had to say. But GMT, did you want to expound on that?
No, that's exactly how I feel. I mean, there's no point. I get it. Women are gonna agree with men with money, so definitely agreeing with him is one thing. But I don't think men should even really care what women agree with when it comes to that. You're the one who holds the access to relationships. So if she really wanted to get to know you, she'll be okay with you spending less money on a date. Now, when the relationship gets serious, the experience is gonna matter for the woman. Then yeah, you could go to Ruth Chris, you could take it to the nice places. But at first, what are y'all doing spending $200-300 on a date? That's not a proper investment, because the likelihood is you're just dating her. She's probably dating other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Chill in a second. Anthony, he has a funny story about 4 years ago that he shared. He took, he was about to trying to take a woman out on a date. She knew who he was, and when he suggested like a particular, cheaper restaurant, she got mad at him because he didn't want to spend a lot of money on her, so she took the social media and aired him out. And he actually responded under her comments like, "You damn right, I said that I wouldn't spend this amount of money on you. Just because you think I got it, you think I'm supposed to trick off or something like that." But it was very funny. Chill, go ahead. My bad, brother.
No, you good, brother. You good. What I was gonna say, I'm speaking to the fellas. Fellas, look, I think a lot of men, who are spending that type of money on dates, these are men who don't know how to vet properly. You need to take this woman to a coffee shop first, man, so you can talk.
Yeah.
Go get a coffee or something, water, a spritzer or something. No appetizer, no nothing. All right, and you need to talk. You need to sit there and ask so many open-ended questions so you can get to know this individual. You need to ask her where's she from? Did she move around a lot? You know what I'm saying? What's your favorite sport team? You need to know these things because sports is. Look, fellas, like I said, man, you got to do the rundown. You got to check her paperwork before you start spending money on her, man. Damn.
You're right, Chill.
You have to.
Yep.
Hey, wait, hold on. This.
All right, can I say something?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Ash. Let me read this one real quick. Air Force Reek $5 super chat said, "I'm so chill," and MRT's comments about passport bros have the chat a little irritated. What comments?
Well, I know what comment. It was in the back of my head, and I saw that question a long time ago.
Me too.
A while ago, and I remembered it. So I'm not talking bad. I wasn't speaking negatively about, passport bros. But what I do know, because there's a couple of passport bros that I know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dudes who make decent money, but I got to be honest, they're squares. And then they went to another country as squares with money, and then they got the tables right.
When did y'all have this conversation?
He had mentioned it earlier about something somebody said, and he was saying that the passport bros are figuring this out as well. It was something just we had skimmed over it, and I said I'm glad that they are chill, and so they must be
right.
They must
Now, in conjunction with that, there are some passport bros who have, they got married. There's quite a few brothers who got married, but we can't sit up there and call it a success yet because that marriage has to stand the test of times, and we all know the divorce rates is pretty high. No matter what, I mean, come on, man. If you got divorced over here and you didn't learn your lesson, you're gonna go over there and snag a wife, and things tend to happen over and over. But that's all I'm saying. All right.
All right. I know. All right. That clarified for Air Force Reek. Ash, my bad. It's on you.
Yeah. So about these expensive first dates, I think men have to do some self-reflection and think about the person that they're dealing with. Because if a woman's requiring you to spend an arm and a leg, it's a big chance that she don't really like you. Like she's just literally there to eat a good meal or whatever, right? But the guy needs a woman, at least, and I can't speak for every woman, but for me specifically, I can't entertain someone I don't like. I will leave a date halfway through if I'm not feeling somebody because I'm not gonna waste my time. I'll be polite about it, but when someone don't like you.
Right.
So a lot of time I understand guys be complaining, but some of that is on y'all. It's y'all's fault for even being with that girl. She don't like you. She don't text you back. She not talking to you. She just showed up for the date, and she even being drawn a date. She's not into you. You just a lot of time men, use their pockets to get the cheeks.
I was just about to go ahead, Ash. I was just about to,
But
and that's what you get. That's honestly what you get.
Yeah.
Because you was leading with that second head down there, and it did not go over as planned.
Yeah, and I think this is why these spaces are important, so we can kind of stop men from going down that path, or actually vetting these women in a proper way. And real quick, guys, they you know, the way that I explain how I used to date, I'm very good at the in between time from when I meet to when we have the date, talking until we get to the date, knowing, you know, getting to know you. That was where I shined. So when it was time for us to pick a, you know, actual restaurant, I would let her pick, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew that she wasn't trying to get over on me, and she liked me, and she's gonna be mindful of how much she gonna spend on that dang date, and she gonna look and be like, "Oh, I always wanted to go here," and I look at the price, and it's rather reasonable because you're not trying to get over me, and it always worked for me. But that's counterintuitive to what a lot of men are taught. They say, "Hey, you supposed to be the man. You pick the date because she gonna try and spend, you know, pick something crazy." But that was kind of my test to see if she was trying to use me or not. Pick the date and see what it is. I never had any issues on that. So Jess, it's on you. Sorry.
Okay, so real quick, and that's what I wanted to kind of go back to, because you said that earlier, as in that in between time. That's actually where it shows the interest and everything before you even go on a date, and that is a very important time. So I like that you actually suggested that. I also liked in the video where the guy said, and you know, I didn't even know about he had money and all that stuff. I didn't know all of that. So but what I liked was with the conversation, he found out that she liked flowers, and he took her to a flower shop. You know, those are the kind of things that show that bonding, that listening, that, you know, like actually quality time that, you know, moves somewhere, rather than, you know, just going to the date, spending money and all that other stuff. I think if it's someone who is really about quality, you can tell.
Yes.
You can tell. And I feel like we have to be more aware of that, and more like just look out for that with anyone.
I want to jump in real quick. I'm sorry. I want to address the fellas in the comment, because, you know,
what am I missing? I'm super chats. What's going on?
So fellas, when I say square, I'm not talking about, look, successful men are successful, but when I'm talking about square, let me dial it in. I'm talking about men who lack that dominance. You know what I'm saying? Men who tend to make a lot of compromises. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to say simp, but, you know, because everybody hear it all the time, but it's the same thing as a square. You know what I'm saying? And women, they shit test these guys all the time. You can be successful as you want. I'm not knocking that. And I rock with passport bros. I like for men to have options just like women do. Going to different countries and experiencing and exploring. I support it. But if you a man who, you know, you make compromises, that's a telltale sign to women, man. There's two things that they know. They know that they can get a baby from you easily, and they know they can get a ring from you easily. And it's not a good look. You know, that is what I mean by a square. Not calling you, you know, yeah, that's a square, Leon. Damn, that's my name too. That is a square, sir. If you are compromises and you ain't the dominant one in that relationship, man. Listen, if something happens, let's just say you one of them dudes, man, something happened in the household or whatever. There's a hole in the roof. And then you look at your woman, even though you're the bread woman, you look at her like, damn, baby, what we gonna do? Yeah, buddy, that thing gonna drive like a Sahara desert, man. Just like that.
Right. IQ send out super chat said, Medium Man, I know you did it a while ago, but can you pull the analytics for the salary average of the subs on your channel? I bet the men subscribed to you average over 80,000 a year. That's above it. Yeah, and I mentioned that before we started the live stream. You know, most of the guys that do recurring consults, these brothers make a lot of money. You know, and then, you know, of course, you can't really, you know, gauge that based off of like subscribers and stuff like that. But based off of what I've seen, it's a lot of guys in the chat that make a good amount of money. And I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. Most of the guys that I talk to that have a lot of money, they are traveling. They're not staying in the States. And and I know, sometimes, like we talk about the passport bro movement. Yes, you have your bad apples in there all the time, but I would say out of it's got to be about 80 to 100 dudes that I've interviewed. The high earning ones, their plan is to go overseas now. They're not staying. And I noticed that I'm gonna have to put some analytics together and look at my notes, but it's very high. Most of the conversations lead towards talking about my experiences from traveling to 50 countries. They ask me, how was it here? How was it there? Because I'm thinking about moving here when I, get everything in order. So that's very interesting from what I seen a shift, with this conversation. I think a lot more Black men are trying to move overseas.